the one as well as the other. In Isaiah, he says he's responsible sometimes for woe in our lives. And there are times in our lives that we certainly say, whoa. Right? Just lost my job, just got hurt, just had a bad relationship, go worse. Whoa. Well, when times are bad, consider the advice from the teacher. Therefore, a man cannot discover anything about his future. Look, all you got is the mist you have. That spray bottle, the moments of now. So take advantage. In this meaningless life of mine, I've seen both of these. A righteous man perishing in his righteousness, and a wicked man living long in his wickedness. You say, man, there's no real God out there, because there would be justice, and the rich wouldn't get richer, and the poor wouldn't get poorer, and the sick wouldn't get sicker. They would be healthy, and things would always work out the way they're supposed to. Well, it's not what the Bible says. We have to consider what is supposed to mean. Verse 16, so therefore, after all this, you don't have control over this stuff, so don't be over-righteous. And don't be over-wise, because you destroy yourself if you do. Verse 17, don't be over-wicked. Does that mean you can be like a little bit wicked? No! The teacher is saying basically, we all are going to be inevitably wicked. We're all sinners. So it's going to happen. Do your best not to allow it to happen. But it'll happen. And do not be a fool. Why die before your time? In other words, if you're foolish, you're going to die before your time. In verse 18, it's good to grasp the one and not let go of the other. The man who fears God will avoid all extremes. It's good to grasp one and not let go of the other. There's been good in your life. There's been good in your life as a Christian. There's been good in the past. Don't let go of that and grab on to the future and then switch and go back and forth to the extremes, always oscillating between the two. Hold on to the good as you continue to test everything. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Take both in hand and don't throw that baby out with the bathwater. There's good there, but avoid those extremes. It says here, don't be over righteous or over wise. You thought, I didn't think that was possible. Right? I'm going for it. I want to be as righteous as possible. I want to be as wise as possible. Well, in the Hebrew, it's more like the phrase, playing the wise man. Play acting would be another appropriate phrase that you can use. Later on, Jesus employs a Greek term that he may have picked up in Sepphoris, a nearby city, doing some carpentry work out there. We're not really sure, but there were a bunch of new actors moving in. Some ancient thespians moving in, and there were a lot of new performances happening and stages being built in the nearby towns where Jesus was. And he comes back after having this experience, and he starts preaching in his public ministry, and he starts using the same term for those actors to people who are religious, who are just playing the part. That Greek word is hypocritus. He says, you hypocrites, you actors, you're just playing the part. Playing the part. You know, in a countercultural movement, the worst enemy is always from within. It's those that start off 100%, going all out, sold my home, went to this place, went to that place. You know, I'm just living on Woodstock. I'm just out there, you know, with the people. We're sharing everything. But then the conviction fades. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm lonely. I'm cold. And now they start questioning, why am I like this in the first place? Most of those hippies actually grew up, had families, became engineers, computer scientists, and gave us a lot of what we have now today with technology. It's pretty awesome. But the counterculture wore off. You know, Jesus, he was all the way, all the time. He said, I'm going to give up my life for this. And then he put it into practice. And there he is, hanging on the cross, excruciating hours of pain, trying to inch his body up to be able to inhale and exhale to breathe, because his body's going limp with fatigue and pain of the flogging and the crucifixion. And they offer him, as they would in those times, a little bit of wine, a little Tylenol to take off the edge. Something that everyone would accept, of course, right? Just take off the edge. It's not going to cure anything, but you're going to die anyways. You might as well have a little comfort. Just take off that edge of the pain. And he says, no, I'm never selling out. I'm never selling short. I'm never going to fake it. I'm going to embrace everything that God has intended for me. Because that's the only way this thing's going to work. And if I question it and if I doubt it, it's not going to work the way it's supposed to. You know, there's a lot of countercultures in music. And these particular genres in music all started in some revolt to some other style of music. Whether it's reggae or ska, grunge, indie, techno, emo. You guys listen to emo? Some of us are emo sometimes. Gangsta rap. You know the funny thing about all these genres is? They started off as a subculture, subversive, countercultural, not popular, underground. Guess what they are today? And I like a lot of this music. But you know what will never be popular? Jesus says it's a narrow gate. It's a narrow gate. Wide's the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate, narrow the road, the finish line that leads to life, and only a few find it. You know, more than 46,000 people will run the New York City Marathon today, and perhaps 99% or more will finish it. But there's a lot more people than that in the spiritual race for their lives today. All of us are in here racing for our spiritual lives. This is not a sprint, is it? It's a marathon. We're pacing ourselves, right? You get too out in front of yourself, and what happens? You burn out quick, right? If you go too slow, you're never going to finish, and they, close down the race. But whether you'll be in that tiny percent that finishes is entirely your decision. No one can force you. It's yours. It's your race. And I believe everyone in here can do it because he did it. We can do it because he did it. He's asking you to think differently and to be a counter-cultural Christian, a true revolutionary in this day and age. Amen.